watching Terror TV, where today we are at Christmas FestEVIL at Scare Kingdom Screen Park, which is on for selected dates throughout December 2013.
We're also here today to get a little peek at Psychomantium, which is the UK's sickest scare attraction. And also it's Friday the 13th.
Well, the story of Christmas FestEVIL, Till Death Us Do Part, is based and inspired on a supposedly true English ghost story called The Mistletoe Bough, which is set at Christmas and is quite well known within the annals of folklore in England. And there are various stately homes which claim they were the origin of this story. And the story so goes that a young bride-to-be was getting married into an aristocratic family for money, which happened very much in olden times. And our story is set in the Edwardian era. And in our story, we're following the ghost story of the Mistletoe Bough almost to the letter. The original story says that they were playing a game of hide and seek, and the attic is where the bride decided to hide. She went up to the attic, she enclosed herself in an old oak chest, and it shut, and the clasp caught and locked her in, and she wasn't able to get out. When the other guests were trying to find her in this big old house, they failed to find her. They assumed she'd run away because she didn't want to be married. But 20 years later, they found the skeleton in the wedding dress in the oak chest. And this is supposed to be a true story. Bramshill House is one of the places that lays claim to this story, and the Minster Lovell Hall in Oxfordshire as well. So in our story, we've taken that as an inspiration point, an imagineering seed, if you like, but we've changed the story. In our story, yes, they were playing hide and seek, yes, she was going to get married, and guests who take part in the experience of the attraction are guests at the wedding. But in our story, she was pregnant, not by the groom. The groom found out, he killed her, put her in the chest in the attic. That's our twist.
We all have seed inside us.
You're first taken into the house by like an estate agent who's this American guy who's very extrovert
Cheesy.
and cheesy.
Quite literally the cheesiest thing I've ever seen in a scare attraction.
It's $1 million!
To think,
But quite funny.
it was
as well.
strange.
It was comical.
I was strange. It was never the last thing I expected to walk through that entrance was some guy on a phone in a similar jacket to me.
With the bow tie on.
Yeah. And it was a nice contrast in a way, and it was an interesting way to go into the attraction. It was an interesting way to kind of start off the story, because you went in hoping to buy the house for yourself. It was almost as if you were at a house viewing.
And he was showing you around the house and trying to sell the house to you.
Yeah. And then when he was on the phone, the bride would appear out of nowhere and be the most mesmerising, beautiful person I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what that was.
You have a bit of a crush on her.
I actually do. It was, I don't know what it was. It was strange, wasn't it? And so
It's like necrophilia.
you know, we go into the kitchen scene, and we have the chef of the manor of Manor Mortis, and
She's preparing food for the
She
wedding,
is.
but she
She
runs
is,
out
yes.
of food. She runs out of meat, and she has to gain her meat from elsewhere.
yeah.
So
She had knives, which always makes me feel uncomfortable. Kind of waving them around.
and she was quite threatening.
Very. So we were then taken into her kind of her what's the word?
Her
Fridge.
kitchen and her freezer. Yeah.
Freezer. That's the one where you've got bodies hanging around everywhere. We were throwing water in our face. That was nice. And then you come to the people eating the food, which was by far the funniest scene of the entire attraction. The two girls in the dining room were absolutely fantastic. Shoving their mouths with loads of cake and all sorts of stuff, trying to get us to entertain them. The way that they bounced off each other and us was absolutely fantastic. It was really funny. It added a lot of comedy to it. The talent here in terms of acting is absolutely amazing. Every single actor there had something extra to give. They all kind of had their own characters, and you can tell that the way they were directed was very specifically. They were told to go away and think about what they were doing. You can tell that these aren't people who were brought in kind of off the cuff thinking, oh, do you fancy scaring people? They're people who have thought about what they're doing, they've learnt their scripts, and it really shone because it made it look like you were watching a genuine show. In terms of entertainment value and stuff like that, to come here and actually go through it, if we're going to judge the entire attraction by itself, definitely 5 out of 5 stars. It was so well done, and I can't even talk about how amazing the set is. It's just absolutely beautiful. I want to live there.
And for the ticket price as well, £8.50, it's brilliant. Well worth the money.